welcome to the next episode, Learn, Grow, Do, Repeat with Jamie Totino. So today I'm joined by a very good friend of mine, and we actually made this episode happen really quickly. We both sort of connected on something, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, the whole idea of food and what it can do for the human body. But we have an accredited dietitian, a professional athlete. She is the founder of the Liquid Gold Bone Broth, and she's out there ultimately helping all people achieve the best possible health through the power of food. We have Candace Sciberras. Welcome, Candace.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for making time to be here. I hope you're well today. We are going to get stuck straight into rapid fire. 21 questions.
Wow. Okay.
Quick questions, quick answers. Are you ready?
I think so.
I'll ask you that question again at the end.
All right.
Favorite song right now?
I don't have one. Well, Spotify said that it was Roses. I don't know who it's by. Everyone I feel like heard it. The poppy dance song.
Roses.
Roses by St. John or something. It was on my Spotify Wrapped. That's all I can
Roses by St. John. All right, we'll roll with that. We'll start with that. It's a good start. Favorite song, Candace, to get you pumped up?
Sorry, just cut out.
Favorite song to get you pumped up?
To get me pumped up, probably that one. That's what I work out to. That's what I start to work out on.
You're going to have to give me different answers. You can't say the same thing for the entire thing, all right? Just framing that out nice and early. Favorite movie?
Harry Potter.
Oh, is there a particular one?
I do like the 7th. Probably the best.
7th?
Yeah, both.
Would it be weird to say that I haven't even really watched one of them?
That's crazy.
Sorry.
I like the words. Like
I'm one of those people that hasn't even watched Game of Thrones either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not really vibing it. Favorite book?
Be Great.
Oh, of course.
But I like the Jay Shetty one or Jay Shetty one that just came out.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one. I haven't got my hands on it yet, but that might be a Christmas and holiday read for me. Definitely. Yeah. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Ooh, okay. Go-to meal?
Eggs.
Eggs?
Yeah. Or
how?
I like them scrambled, like in an omelette.
Okay. Scrambled. I like it. Favorite TV show?
I've been watching The Handmaid's Tales. A little bit obsessed.
Handmaid's Tales. All right. First job?
Working in my mum's supermarket.
Supermarket. I love it. Your biggest celebrity / sporting idol growing up?
It was probably Messi. Typical.
No, not at all. That's the first time I've had that answer. So he is a very special player. He's retired now, hasn't he?
No, I'm still playing.
Still, okay.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I remember playing FIFA with my mates when we were younger. Like everyone wanted to be Barcelona just to have him. Good old Messi. One thing you hate or dislike, and you can't say coriander.
Like a food?
Could be anything. Anything.
Wow, this is a hard question. I don't know.
The arms are crossed. She means business now. You can see getting in the angry mode. She's like, I'm angry.
Yeah, I like coriander. I don't even know what it is.
Same, yeah. I like it too.
Can we come back to that one?
Normally we don't do that, Candace, but all right, cool. We'll come back to it. And I'm not going to forget about it either. Funniest or craziest thing you've done?
Is that appropriate for the podcast?
Absolutely. You can make it appropriate for the podcast.
The thing that I can think of, I have a really bad phobia of spiders. And one day, me and my mum were going to work and I went to go put on my seatbelt at like 7 o'clock in the morning and there was like this huge huntsman, like where the seatbelt thing is. So she was like driving the car out of that driveway and I like pushed her out of the car whilst I was so scared.
That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's crazy or funny. It's a bit of both. It's probably funny for the person watching. You would have been like freaking the hell out. I love it. Book or audio book?
I've been getting into audiobooks lately.
Okay. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Sum up your mindset in one word.
Determined.
What's something that you haven't done yet that you really want to do?
Um, mm, owners like a luxury sports car.
Ooh. One in particular?
Probably a Ferrari 488.
Now we're even more friends. I'm telling you, we were friends, and now we're like next level friends. I can guarantee you that much. Proudest moment personally, and then proudest moment professionally.
Personally, I think personally maybe stepping out of my comfort zone on like social media and putting my face in front of a camera, which is something I didn't think I'd do ever.
And professionally?
Well, I probably representing the country in soccer, like in my under 17s days.
That would have been a nice little buzz.
Yeah.
Putting on the green and gold. That would have been good fun.
Yes.
Well done. Well done. Candace, tell us something that no one knows about you.
I don't know. I feel like I just said because I liked Harry Potter. I feel like we all like Harry Potter. I love Mexican food.
Oh, okay. Love Mexican.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Your greatest failure, now you can substitute failure for whatever resonates best with you, but your greatest failure that ended up being your best lesson.
Probably my injuries, my ACL knee reconstructions, 3 of them.
Oh.
Yes. Taught me a few lessons.
Okay. Well, as in like injury management, like looking after yourself, or in that downtime learning, or like in what way?
Also prioritizing my time different after the second and third one, and sort of finding, I guess, a new love in life that wasn't soccer.
Yeah, good. Cool. If you could choose, I got a feeling I know who this answer will be, but if you could choose to have lunch with any one person in the world, 2-hour time limit, who would it be and where would it be?
Probably Gary V. Probably in America somewhere. One of my favorite food places.
Maybe a Mexican restaurant. How about that?
Yeah, probably one of them. Chipotle, I don't even know. They have so many good ones.
Well, I thought you were going to say Messi. That's why I said I knew what you, but Gary.
Yeah, no.
Gary V. Gary V. It is. What was 10-year-old Candace like?
Pretty active, tomboy. I don't know, playing with the boys, playing soccer.
Love it. What's one trait, skill, quality, value or belief that you would say is consistent in the closest people around you, family, friends, acquaintances, one that's, consistent, but one that's the most important to you?
Like a trait or a value or?
Either.
I think patience is important, or what I find the most important.
I like that a lot. Second last question. Normally it's the last question, but we are circling back to one. So second last question is your favorite superhero.
Superhero. I'm not like into any of those movies.
Come on, Candace. Give me
I
something.
never watched like Batman or Superman or like any of whatever type of ones there are. Pass.
You passed one. I gave you one credit that we're going back to. There is no, but you got to give me something. Give me something. Who did you watch when you were growing up? Cartoon, whatever.
Like Toy Story. I watched Toy Story.
Oh, that's cool. You know what? We'll call him superhero. We'll call Woody a superhero. But he sort of was. Him and Buzz, they sort of saved the world, didn't they?
Yeah.
Now, the one that I'll let you go by. One thing that you hate or dislike and you can't say coriander. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be food.
I just feel like I always try not to hate anything. This is hard.
Well, that's why I put the word dislike in there, because hate's very strong.
God, okay. I like ginger. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be a food, though.
This is stressful.
I'll sit here all day, just so you know.
What do you hate?
This is not my interview.
I don't like negative people.
And that's why you're finding this answer so hard to come by.
Yeah, it's to really try to make sure I don't not like anything.
Well, one thing that I get ticked off with is probably a bit of a dislike is like a mess or like crumbs on the bench, like on the table. It's like, it's not hard to get the sponge and like clean it, you know, or the cloth to clean it. I see that there and I'm like, how?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I don't like mess. Why didn't I think of that? Damn it.
You can't just take my answer now, Candace. It doesn't work like that.
Actually, I don't like negative people.
True. All right. We'll pay that. Well, that is rapid fire. Congratulations. Well done. That wasn't that bad, was it?
It got me thinking.
Absolutely. It's the idea. Again, thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate it. Lead up to Christmas now. There's a lot happening. But that's why I thought this time to do an episode now, really around food and the power of food and what to eat, what not to eat. Some myths that we can bust and some, give some people some strategies as well going into the silly season, as it's called. And just things to think about on how they can manage their food. But let me ask you this, Candace, first up. What's something that you've learned about yourself, you would say, throughout COVID?
Well, for me, COVID wasn't, I feel like, I don't know, I didn't find it a negative experience like a lot of people found it to be. I kind of utilized this time to, better myself, learn, use my time wisely for the most part. Definitely had moments where I didn't, but yeah, I just learned to, I guess, manage my time well because I was spending time at home a lot more. So I had to learn how to do that so I didn't waste my time.
And that's been a very common sort of theme, throughout my sort of social circle and a few of the guests that we've had on here as well. But it is because the fact of slowing down and, then managing time. Like instead, you got all the time in the world. Now it's like, I actually need to manage that. We always wish I want more time, wish I had more time. And then you had all the time and stuff, but we still need to manage and control it and track it most importantly as well. Talk to us about your sporting career. I want to know a little bit more about what it's like to pull on the green and gold. I never had the opportunity to do that. So I want to know what it's like to represent Australia, represent your country, and then, play internationally, play in front of people, thousands of people. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I started playing soccer at 5 years old. I was in the development programs, really, really young. Was training, 8 times a week, like no exaggeration or more. For a lot of my life, and I don't even know. Got into state, was always in state teams. Then the national opportunity came up, which is kind of random. Was in a camp, and then they selected for like a pre-qualifier, and it was a really good experience. And then I had an injury, and it's just a roller coaster being an athlete. You never know what's coming next, and you expect
Absolutely.
You pull on the jersey. You're going to go far, but, you have an injury and then your perspective changes. And then I played for Western Sydney not too long after that. Then I moved overseas to America, which again was a completely new experience playing football there. And then, here we are back home. And
I didn't know you went to America to play soccer.
Yeah, for college.
Football. Sorry, football. Sorry.
I got a scholarship for soccer and studied there, and then played in their college system.
Was college like it is in the movies?
A little bit.
A little bit. Keeping it PG rated, I guess.
I'm in like a country town, so.
Okay.
Version.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone rolling around in their pickups and stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. How long were you there?
Nearly 5 years.
5 years in the US.
Yeah, 4 years for the undergrad, and then I did an internship as a dietitian in Las Vegas, which is really random. So
it's a complete opposite of dietitian in Las Vegas. It's the last thing people are worrying about there.
I know. Well, that's where I got placed, but yeah, it's a good experience.
I love it. I didn't know you spent that long there. That's amazing. Well, on the back of that, how did the whole dietitian thing come out? Like, was that through sport that you sort of said, I want to learn more about food to get better performance? Was it just something that you're always naturally driven towards? Like, how did you fall into the space of, I want to go and become a dietitian?
Yeah, naturally, I was always, interested in food and nutrition, and so was mum. I didn't really think about it too much being when I was at home. And I don't even know if I thought that was, a profession that people went into. I was just so like soccer. That was all. And then when I went over there, you have to learn or study something. And yeah, someone said, why don't you do this? And I was like, yeah, that actually sounds cool. Like, I'm down. And it just kind of like spiraled from there. First it was nutrition, then it went to dietitian.
I like it. So did you initially do it for your own improvements, or you did it to get a degree, but not really think you'd ever do a career out of it?
I honestly had no idea. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, if I wanted to do it as a profession, but I was like, well, I like studying this, and, you know, you got to do something. And yeah, I was like, oh, this is cool. You can actually study something you're interested in. So
I like it.
I've always wanted to just be healthy in general. I didn't think it was about performance too much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's definitely, I'm very similar to you. I can't say I definitely haven't studied nutrition or dietitian at all, but I've always had this like fascination towards, and it was like what we sort of said, like when we were in the preparation, you know, a little bit of biohacking, or like for me personally, I'm always looking for, not so much like a shortcut, but I'm looking for a way to improve my performance, whether it's through a food or a supplement or a drink or something. Is always looking for that little bit of, how can I get 5% more?
Yeah.
You know? And then that's part of the reason why as well I wanted to do this episode with you, is to understand that, like, is there some things that we can, that the normal person doesn't really know about, that you can be like, you know what, this is the gold, and are there some things as well we should definitely be steering away from? The first question I have for you, this is a little bit of a selfish episode because there's a lot of questions that I want to just have answers for, but you know what, I'm sure the listeners would love to hear it as well. Talk to us about the vegetarian/vegan diets. Are they as, you know, beneficial as what everyone says they are? Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? How do you know if you should do it or not? I know I've given you like 5 questions in one, but I know you can handle it.
Okay. So, you know, when studying, I didn't really learn there was a really big deal in terms of, are they healthy or better than, you know, a regular diet. But as I sort of learned about it more, dive deeper, you know, in the last few years, I'm starting to think they're not really as healthy as what people make out to be. I'm not opposed to them at all, or really for anything, I guess. But the more I'm thinking about it, meat has, you know, meat proteins have a lot more nutrition than just protein. There's more to it than, you know, just getting enough protein, which, you know, is always the argument. You're never going to get enough protein. You can still get enough protein, but there's more to meat than just protein. There's iron, there's B12, there's vitamin D, there's omega-3s, all these things that are more bioavailable in meat that aren't in vegetables. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you do them for a long time, you will start to get deficient in things. If you're not supplementing, like, carefully.
When you say long time, is that 10 plus years? Is that 6 months? Like,
I think everyone's different. Like, everyone
good point.
Make up, you know, how well they store certain vitamins, and, you know, what else they're doing to kind of supplement with that. So yeah, and I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, I do it and I feel great. So there's a couple of things. You might be, originally you were eating too much meat, or you weren't eating enough vegetables prior. I don't think it's the fact that there's no meat in your diet. It's the fact that you were choosing the wrong things. You were eating too much meat, which a lot of us can do. You weren't having enough vegetables, which obviously make you feel good. Like, there's a whole range of things. So I think it's a little bit silly to say, you know, meat is evil, you know.
I like what you said there as well. Like, you know, because I definitely, so the way I do intermittent fasting personally, and then I try and eat, my rule that I've created to myself is to have at least one meatless meal a day.
Yeah.
So, because I only really eat twice a day anyway, because I do intermittent fasting, most of the time I do lunch meatless, and dinner I'll have some chicken or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So is that, I guess it's hard to say because it depends on the person, but is there like is there a way to, like, is eating more vegetables than meat, or through other forms of like getting the proteins and everything else that comes with it, is it more beneficial to try and have more vegetables or more alternatives to meat, or doesn't really matter where you get it from?
So I think you don't have to have meat like twice a day. Like, I don't think that's the issue. I think it's when you cut it out completely for long periods of time, like doing what you're doing, you know, you're still getting meat, you're just not getting as much. So you're probably feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely, I think everyone needs to get more vegetables, no matter who you are. They're always going to make you feel good. That's what you should be filling half your plate up with for most meals. And, every meal should have a protein though, no matter where it is. But, the only way to find out if you are deficient in, B12 or iron or, any of those things is getting a blood test to really know. And vitamin D, you need to look at it from that way as well.
And then from somewhere like that, then you can go to someone like yourself and say, hey, well, this is the results I got. Where do I need to put my energy and effort towards in my diet to increase these and to increase my performance, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Yeah. So you're not like for it. You're not against the whole vegetarian and vegan thing.
No, it's more that, there's two things. Like people go, okay, I've become vegan, it's the best thing ever. You should do it, and kind of putting on everyone else that they should do it. And then it's like, well, firstly, everyone's different. And secondly, people can start to choose really poor choices just because they're vegan. So then you can get super unhealthy, and then you're deficient in all these like vitamins for a long period of time. So I think there needs to be a lot more education around it.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically if you're a vegan and you eat corn chips, does that make you, does that tick the box or not? Is that not vegan?
Nah. Yeah, no, I mean, it is vegan, right? But it depends.
But that's what I mean. Like if you have corn chips all day, every day, then technically you're a vegan, but are you really healthy?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing, or whatever. I don't even know. Kind of like fried chips or something, like hot chips. You're not, being healthy vegan.
I'm a vegan. I go to Macca's and buy fries every day. I'm a vegan. I'm telling you.
Burger and all the, like, people tell me, clients come in and say, I went to Macca's but I got the big veg burger. And I'm like, why would you get that? Like, all it is carbs, and it's deep fried carbs.
And sugar.
Yeah, why'd you do that? So, yeah.
They're being healthy, Candace. That's why.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. I'm satisfied with that one. Thank you. So ultimately, are you suggesting that, so definitely more vegetables, absolutely doesn't matter who you are, what you are, absolutely top up the vegetables. And then is it a balance between both protein sources, as in meat and non-meat?
The variety, tofu, have fish, have chicken. You shouldn't be stuck on the same one. Definitely have variety because they all provide different things.
I like it. Well, that's the first one done. Thank you. Now, the silly season, like I said, is around the corner. I've personally been busting my ass to get in great shape for Christmas. How do I maintain that, Candace, throughout?
So, saying, I guess, accountable over Christmas or New Year, or?
Well, that's almost impossible because being Italian and going to Christmas Day, there's breakfast, lunch, and dinner that are 18-course meals all the way through, so.
Definitely pace yourself.
Pace myself. All right. I'm not very good at that.
So generally, like what I try to tell people or clients is, if you're going to have a big lunch, avoid breakfast or have something really light. But I mean, if you're doing what you're doing, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
That's stock standard. So is there any healthy eating tips throughout the break? Or is it more just do your own thing? Or if someone is conscious about, look, I want to have fun, but I don't really want to go too crazy. Is there particular foods that they could eat, particular strategy they could take that you see beneficial most of the time?
Yeah. So, try to build a plate how you normally would, have that bit of protein on there, have your carbs, have lots of salad, kind of eat slow, try not to avoid going for seconds, drink low calorie alcohols.
No seconds. Come on, Candace. What are you talking about?
If you're going to go to seconds, you're probably not going to enjoy dinner. So it's like, enjoy lunch, have your plate, indulge, eat slow. And then I find we just eat so much at lunch and we don't even want dinner. And I just don't even eat. But yeah.
So eat slow. I don't know about that. And don't have seconds. That's the worst thing I've heard all episode. Don't have seconds.
Like if you eat slow, you'll be full by the time you get to.
What happens if I just get like one massive plate? Like a massive like platter sort of thing. Not even a plate, like just a whole thing.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Is that still one serve?
Yeah, I approve.
Okay. I'm going to take a photo of it and send it to you. Like, does this cut it? Does this make it? Any other tips, Candace, in regards to like alcohol types, food types, if you are going to go out and have fun, like is there things that people should try and not eat on the menu? Like,
so when people are choosing things on the menu, it can it does sound a little bit boring, but, try to choose it like you would choose it at home, where you have, there's a protein in it. Like that could look like, a burger of some sort. There's still a protein in it. There's some carbs and there's some salad, and then maybe a veggies or salad on the side. Try to make those healthy choices. Still indulge and enjoy yourself, but try to make that compromise, or it's not all bad. Where you're not getting the chips and
100%.
burger. You're trying to find the balance.
Yeah. Okay. So still have fun with it. Most
Yeah.
importantly, like you're on holidays, you've worked hard for it, but yeah, find that balance, be smart about it. And I like what you said earlier as well, on that part where you sort of said, like, if you're going for a big dinner, or you're going for a lunch, whatever it is, the couple of meals before, prepare for that.
Yeah.
Don't overindulge 3 meals in a row.
Yeah.
What happens if
enjoy the meal? You feel like full and you like won't feel good.
Yeah, definitely. What happens if someone starts to feel like, the second part of the holiday season, we're coming into January, and people are like, wow, I've put on a couple of kilos, or I feel sluggish, I feel bloated, blah, blah, blah. Tips, advice, if they get to that stage, what do they do?
So strip it back to basics. Just go back to, basic things. Try my thing that I've been doing for the last few months is just sticking to 3 meals. So it's sort of like intermittent fasting, in a way, where there is no snacks in between, and try to build your plate. Every meal have a protein, will keep full and help maintain muscle. Make sure you have vegetables on the plate in some shape or form, and have a little bit of carb, just for 3 meals. And the biggest thing with avoiding snacks through the day is why you do the intermittent fasting, so you're not always raising your blood sugar levels, so that insulin doesn't have to secrete. So that's what we want to do with just having 3 meals.
So snacks are a no-go.
Yeah, I definitely avoid snacks if you can. If you feel like you're starving, because, maybe you're having dinner a little bit later, have some, nuts to snack on, or something. But don't go snacking on like a bag of chips and, all these processed foods.
When you say snack on nuts, that's always another topic. How much is a snack?
The 25 grams, 25 to 30 grams is a portion, or a snack portion.
25 to 30 grams is a snack portion.
Yeah, so it's like a closed handful, basically, or nearly closed.
So whatever fits into my closed hand is a snack.
Yeah, maybe a little bit closed for you.
A bit more closed, a bit more like closed. Okay. Yeah. I can almost fit a burger in my hand, like a cheeseburger. Like that would fit.
Maybe weigh yours. Definitely just.
Yeah, no more the hand measurement for Jamie. He has to weigh his. Oh, I love it. Okay, cool. Cut out snacks, strip it back to basics. If you find yourself feeling a bit, over the moon and a bit overwhelmed with what's happened over the Christmas and New Year's period, post all that when it's time to come back. Should people detox? Are you for that? Should they cut carbs? Should they cut, are you for any of that either?
Not necessarily. There is certain like cleansers and programs like that can be beneficial and, be safe. For my brand Liquid Gold Bone Broth, we do have some programs in there, like a 5-day, 10-day, but they don't include starving yourself, and it really is just stripping down all the processed foods, the sugars and stuff like that, and adding in a whole bunch of good food. So stuff like that people like, because you do feel lighter and it's safe. It's only maybe for 5-10 days. It's not designed to be sustained for a long period of time, but you definitely have to be careful of some that you choose, because not all of them are safe. So get some background on what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely get some advice before you go do something crazy like that, or follow a program like you've created, like you said, with the Liquid Gold Bone Broth. On that, I know personally, definitely on social media and seeing it a lot more out there, bone broth has become I'm not gonna say a household name, but it's definitely gained some attention.
Yeah.
Why bone broth? Like, why Liquid Gold? Tell us about that. But then why bone broth? Like, why is it such a powerful thing?
Yeah, well, I came across it because I was having a bit of arthritis with injuries and had heard about it being, a good thing, and did some research and was like, I'm going to try it. I had a good result with it and felt really good. My mum was, using it as well. She's like, oh, like I feel really good. And, it's, can be really good for weight loss, which is something a lot of people want to do and achieve. So yeah, it just has so many benefits, primarily because it's full of collagen, which our body is primarily made of. It's one of the number one proteins in our body. So it makes sense. And yeah, I think there's a lot more research coming about collagen bone broth now, which is good. And yeah, I've just seen it help so many people that have taken my product, and it just leaves them feeling so good. So
Love
yeah.
that. So is it more of a supplement, or is it a meal? Is it like, how would someone use it?
So you can have it in many different ways. So I personally just drink it instead of having like another coffee. When I first get up, I'll probably just drink on, have some bone broth. It's good
Warm? Would you warm it up?
Yeah, warm it up, because if it's not, it's like a jelly consistency, so it's not very palatable. So you drink it literally like a tea. It's good if you're fasting, because you can just drink it in the morning, kind of helps with the cravings, provides some protein, and doesn't break the fast. Or sometimes I'll have it in the afternoon, like if I don't want to have another coffee, I'll just drink that. And yeah, or you can add it to your meals. So instead of using a stock or a liquid, cooking your grains or in a soup or making a gravy, you can use the bone broth.
Sounds very versatile. And I like what you said there about having it in the morning and not breaking the fast.
Yeah, because it's just protein. It's really low calorie, nothing in it.
You've now got my attention. Liquid Gold Bone Broth will be added to Jamie Totino's diet. That's for sure. Love it. Now, this next question. How does the body actually lose weight? I know it's complex.
Yeah.
A million different things that happen simultaneously because our human bodies are incredible. But ultimately, for someone listening, they're like, okay, cool. What do I actually need to do to lose weight?
So the simple answer is, ingesting less calories than your body is burning. So getting that balance right there, which I think we've all heard of, cutting calories, but being smart about it too. It shouldn't be, for example, 3,000 calories down to 1,500 calories, if that's, or 1,500 calories. It shouldn't be that drastic. It should definitely be done steadily. So that's sort of the simple answer, reducing calories. So that could be through food or having more output and burning more energy through exercise. So it's beneficial to do both of them.
So carbs, fats, proteins.
So it just be overall.
So they all play a part, but there's no one thing in particular that is the culprit.
So processed carbs should definitely be cut. Refined carbs, added sugars, those types of things can definitely be cut. The only carbohydrate that should be had in some moderation is whole grains, or low GI, high fiber. And there's even certain ones like in that group that people should be having more than, say, like a whole grain pasta. I would just recommend someone to have quinoa more so than, say, a whole wheat pasta. So yeah, definitely certain carbs to pay more attention to.
Now this is why I asked this question, because like even you just naturally rattling off all those things, I didn't really get lost, but I can guarantee there'll probably be someone listening that's sort of saying, wow, she just said like 15 different things in like 30 seconds. What do I eat? What don't I eat?
Yeah.
So it can be confusing. So ultimately really just aim for burning more than you're consuming. And
yeah, basically that, and ingesting less than you've had. If I was to look at an individual, you'd want to know where they're starting at, I think is the most important. So, tracking what you're having can be a good, indicator of where you're at. So maybe it's telling you you're having 3,000 a day. Okay. If you want to lose weight, maybe you drop it down to, 2,500, go from there, see how you go. Do you have loss, and then adjust again?
So don't go too crazy.
Just definitely take it easy, because you just kind of send your body into a shock, or it's too much to handle, and then you don't stick with it, which our body doesn't like it when we're yo-yoing too much.
And I can understand why that happened, because that happened to me when I was a lot younger. And part of the reason why I do intermittent fasting is because it's just easy. Like I don't have to think, and I can do particular diets. Like I can do like the whole vegetarian thing while still doing intermittent fasting. I can do meat only.
Yeah.
I can do vegetable only. I can do anything while still following that process.
Yes.
And honestly, like if I have breakfast in the morning, which is like maybe once a month, I'm like out.
Really?
Like within an hour, I'll be sleeping. Because it's
Wow.
just like, well, it's because I don't have it. Like I don't eat breakfast. Like I won't eat until like 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock most days.
Yeah.
So if I eat before then, put me to bed.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. See, and then there's always something that works better for someone else as well.
Absolutely.
You find what fits your lifestyle, what you feel good on.
100%. Well, there was 2 key reasons why I really committed to this. One was because I didn't want to waste too much time eating. I was like, if I have to eat 5, because I did the whole bodybuilding thing. And I know you know that. Like I would eat like 5-6 times a day.
Yeah.
You know, and then like if you half an hour, say even 20 minutes times 6, that's almost like an hour and a half, 2 hours a day of eating.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of time to be spent eating.
Yeah.
You know? And the second part of it was when I started my businesses, I was like, well, I'm in a startup. I don't really have a lot of money. I can't afford to eat 6 times a day. So I'm going to have to eat 5 and then 4 and then 3. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to only eat twice a day. I better try this intermittent fasting thing and see how I go. But now I just love it. Like I just so energized on the back of it. Hey, I'm not trying to sell it or anything. I'm just telling you my story for all those listening and watching. All right, cool. So ingest less and or burn more.
And just so one more thing, there is, I think, more that can go into that. Like, someone maybe their calories, they're working and they're not losing. You want to start looking at other things and looking deeper into the situation. Your gut plays a role. Are you stressed? Are you sleeping? Are your hormones? How are your hormones? Blood tests. There's a lot of things you can look at. But obviously, what I just said, the calories in, calories out, is the most simplest.
Yeah.
So
I think if you can start with that, like if you can, like I think the number one thing, like you said, know where you are, track what you're doing now, and then we can, start to build from there. It's impossible to say, yeah, I'm going to go and eat these foods. But it's like, well, how do you know that's not the same or less calories than what you're already doing in a different version?
Exactly.
I like that. Candace, I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I'm going to ask you, give us 3 myths that are just straight out like BS when it comes to food.
Sugar in moderation is okay. So I don't think any sugar.
Is that a myth or that is actually okay?
Oh no. Okay, so the myth is sugar in moderation is okay.
Okay, cool. Good. Just getting clarity there.
Yeah.
Sugar in moderation, when people say, oh, that's okay, just have a little bit of it, is no good.
No.
Okay. I'm not even going to argue that point. If Candace says it, it must be research.
People have them, I have them, like 100%. But it's not like, oh, it's okay to have a chocolate every day. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, that's okay.
Totally, yeah. Oh, it's okay to have a chocolate for breakfast. Oh, I'd have another one for lunch. Yeah. Oh, well, I've had 2 for both today. I may as well have 3 at dinner.
Yeah.
No longer moderation.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the first one. Sugar in moderation equals don't go there, people. Number 1. Number 2.
So it's sort of similar, like cheat days are okay and are good. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing.
Cheat days.
And I originally was like, it's good for people to indulge, but one, they tend to go overboard, some people, and it does have a pretty negative effect on your gut. Even that one meal does throw you out. Obviously depends what it is, but it does, if it's bad enough, it will throw you out.
I don't know if I don't know if I like these answers personally, because this is like me all over. No, I don't do sugar in moderation. I'm completely against sugar. But cheat days, I'm like, I work hard all week for a Saturday afternoon into Sunday morning sort of thing. But nah, you don't reckon?
No, I mean, and it depends what it is. If someone's like, my cheat meal is going to be, like waffles and like churros and chocolate, and just, really bad stuff. Like that is not okay. If it's like grass.
What about a pizza?
But yeah, like how is it? Do you make it? Did someone make it? Where's it from?
Well, someone definitely makes it. I don't make it. Someone else definitely. Someone else
Is
definitely.
it Domino's? Is it like a good restaurant? Really
Could be a restaurant at times.
Yeah. Yes and no. What are your toppings? You know, that's why it's just easy to say no cheat meals.
I don't know why I did this episode anymore. You're making me feel bad about myself. I like it. Thank you. So cheat days are no good. Doesn't matter 1 day, 2 days, once a month, steer away from them. So what would be the alternative to that then?
They're really like you can make a healthy pizza. You can make a healthy burger. You can make, you can almost have a healthy ice cream as well. Like if you make it or
Dairy free.
Yeah, like you can control, you can find the good food or foods you like, in a
healthier version.
Yeah.
And still follow like the cheat day, like a healthy version on the cheat day, or incorporate more of that healthy version.
Yeah, or like nachos. You can make that a healthy meal. You can, maybe have a little bit of sour cream or no sour cream. You can have fresh avocado guac. You can always sort of find it a little bit. Once every now and then you might not, but it is what it is. But the less you do it, the better, ultimately.
Okay, so the less cheat days, and if you do happen to want and need to have a cheat day for whatever reason, choose healthier alternatives. Choose healthier versions of those meals. All right. So the first one with sugar in moderation is a bad no. Cheat days are good. Myth busted. Third one.
So the sugar, like preservatives and like sugar alternatives, that they are.
Sugar alternatives.
So yeah, like your, Splenda or
Stevia.
Yeah, those sorts of. I don't know too much about stevia. I think stevia is, sort of on the borderline of okay, but like the Splendors and the Equals and, the stuff in Diet Coke that, people are aware of.
That shit's nasty.
Yeah, so like, any type of sugar replacement is generally 1,000 times sweeter than, sugar itself, which is why we only have to use less of it, and it still tricks our brain into wanting more sugar. So that's, and I don't think there's enough research about them. Like as soon as something comes up, say, this certain thing, they've done research and they're like, oh, it's not good. Okay, then they go ahead and like find a different one. And then they're like, oh, wait, that's not good. Okay, let's find another one. It's like there's no good ones, obviously.
So they just rename it. They'll put a little bit less, a little bit more of a particular ingredient. Yeah. And it's a whole new product. It's like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So sugar in moderation, no. Cheat days, no. Sugar alternatives, no. So just don't have sugar.
Yes. Change your taste buds, basically.
Well, I'm glad that I don't have to have sugar with my coffee. That's one of the best things. I don't have to do that. That's probably a good start. All right. Sugar in moderation, no. Okay. We're going to have a conversation off air about getting my, how I can fill these gaps. If I'm going to remove all these 3, what do I do? I like it. What are some foods, vitamins, supplements that people should be like non-negotiable? This needs to be in your diet. So
then the vegans and vegetarians might hate me, but meat, animal proteins in some degree, I think it doesn't have to be, maybe it's not daily, but I think in some degree it's essential. Healthy proteins, healthy fats, again, monounsaturated in particular, really important. So things in avocado and olive oil, those types of fats. Fiber.
Why is olive oil so like liquid gold?
Because of the monounsaturated fat, basically, which is just, it's just healthier. So we have polyunsaturated, which isn't as healthy, but mono is sort of the fat we want.
And can you cook with olive oil? Like, what can you do with olive oil? For the listeners, they're like, Candace, give us a recipe. Give us something that we can do with this amazing thing.
Yeah, I mean, olive oil, you can use it in all your cooking. I know there was that myth about, you can't cook with olive oil because it gets damaged at high heat. And I looked at a study that said that wasn't true because that's what I originally thought too.
So did I.
Yeah. Well, there was this study, I don't know, it was last year. I found it actually doesn't get any damage than, say, a different oil. So it can obviously be used in all your cooking, dressings. I use it, everywhere pretty much.
Do you just drink it out of the bottle or nah?
Yeah, nah.
Just straight down. It's like, yep, getting me olive oil for the day. I like it. So animal proteins, healthy fats. One more.
Vegetables, fiber vegetables. Yeah.
Is that a particular type of vegetable?
Generally non-starchy are probably the better ones. Probably those. I think another nutrient people should pay attention to is vitamin D. I think we don't pay enough attention. So you can obviously get it from, going outside and being in the sun, but not all of us do that at the prime time, which I think people should do. It's not easy to get enough from food in some cases. So either look at your vitamin D level on a blood test, and if you are low or even close to being low, supplement with it.
What is the impacts of not having enough?
So vitamin D is just connected to so much. So it's connected to nearly every organ. But I think something people don't know, it does regulate the gut microbiome, which I think everyone's starting to realize the gut plays a role in everything, our brain, our skin, its role to the liver and everything. So I think vitamin D is just very underrated, affects a lot of things. Yeah, it's a whole...
So it's not just about getting a tan.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than that.
Yeah, and it's really important. Like pretty much everything, the type of diet to follow is important for vitamin D too, because certain foods can inhibit vitamin D, production.
So definitely go and get a blood test to see where your vitamin D's at.
Yeah, look, and you have to ask too with that one, because doctors won't give it to you. You can't just go like get a standard blood test, because it won't be on there in most.
Okay. That's interesting. I like how you sort of framed it there about like how it's so connected to everything. Like it's not just going to get a tan or going to get in the sun for half an hour, whatever. Like there's so much more to it that it, is connected to when it drives.
Yes. Yeah.
On the flip side to those options, what are some foods that people definitely need to cut out? Like no more, non-negotiable, out.
So you probably know a few. Definitely added sugar, processed foods. If you can avoid getting anything sort of processed and not in its original form, always find the best type or the best version of the food. Processed oils as well, like refined cooking oils, which you will find in a lot of, restaurants that will use, and fast food restaurants. That's where you're going to find those, because they're cheaper, seed oils, that type of thing. Refined carbohydrates, refined sugars, refined oils, processed foods.
You know how you said processed foods, like, and try and find its most natural state. Like, what about like frozen veggies and stuff? Like, are they okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, frozen veggies are fine. More so, if you don't, for example, like a small example, if you don't need to have protein powder, if you can get protein in its, a normal like piece of chicken, whatever it is, and it's not for like a sports performance thing, have the real thing when you can. Obviously, if it's a convenience thing and you really can't avoid it, obviously, it's okay, but it doesn't have to be an everyday thing. And that's what I mean by trying to find the real version of something.
One thing I learned about protein powders and all those supplements and stuff was, especially when I did my bodybuilding comp, getting closer to the actual the competition day, obviously a lot of that, like the supplements get cut out because there's obviously a lot of calories in it. But then I started, and it was just about eating the food at that time instead of having the protein shake. And I actually realized that I started to, one, not feel as bloated, and gut health was so much better. But two, I actually got better results. Like I was actually performing more. I was lifting more in the gym, even though I was cutting back on some foods by just cutting out protein powders and all that other stuff that I had, like the 15 other supplements I thought I needed to be alive.
Yes.
And just going back to food, like food as a whole, no supplements. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Huge difference. All right. So no added sugars, processed foods, processed oils, processed carbs, processed fats, anything processed, anything that's not real, don't have it.
Basically, yeah. If it's too refined, don't have it.
How do they even sell That's another whole topic. I'm not even going to go there. Yeah. All right, cool. Candace, what are your top habits though? What's something that you do to help you be focused, energized, the person you need to be?
Well, one thing, and I learned it from you, or I definitely took it on more, is getting up early. And I've been doing it pretty consistently the last few months. And yeah, it just helps me be a lot more productive, I think. And I actually don't feel tired, which, I mean, I love sleep. I do go to bed early, but I was doing that before anyway. So yeah, I just feel a lot more productive. And
I love how you said that I don't get tired. That's probably the first thing. Oh, if I get up at 5 a.m., I'm going to be tired. I'm like, no, you won't.
no, you're not.
So you heard it first to you guys. Do it.
Yes.
If you're waking up at like 10 a.m. because apparently you need that much sleep.
It's crazy. Wasting so much time.
Totally. Wake up at 5 a.m. You sort of cruise around, build into your day. You're hitting the ground running by like 6:37. It's game on.
Yeah.
So getting up early. What else?
I'm being organized. I wouldn't say I'm always organized, but even being organized for the next day, the day before, knowing what I need to do. And sometimes I struggle with that because my days are always so different. 1 minute I'm here, 1 minute I'm at home. So I am still working on that, being more organized, but definitely a lot more.
Okay. So getting up early, being organized, and having a bit of a structure throughout your day, and a bit of a plan, like a pre-day plan. And what was the third thing?
Not eating too much. Like kind of like you said, there's like no time for it, and that's why I only try to stick to 3 meals. That's just what works for me at the moment. But I don't want to like stress about it or waste time thinking about it either. So that just keeps me efficient.
That's the thing. It's like by the time if you're let's say you're gonna order online, let's say you're gonna use Uber Eats. By the time you scroll the app, find out what you want, pick it, it's like 10 minutes there maybe.
Yeah.
Right? That's if they get the order right. If they get the order right and it turns up, there's another 15, 20 minutes eating. So there's like half an hour right there. Do that 3-4 times a day, there's 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just us two who are a bit crazy, who are like, you know what? Oh, we're not going to eat as much so we can get more done. But it seems to work.
Yeah.
It seems to work. What's one thing that you learned, Candace, about, maybe not even food and nutrition and, that whole side of it, but just in general, in your, I didn't even know, like I said, you went to America. So in your time of traveling and your time all over the world, like what's been one thing that you learned that really just blew you away? You're like, wow, I didn't even know one that existed, or wow, I didn't realize how important that was.
I think having a good network of people, or doesn't even have to be a big network. I definitely don't think I have a big network, but just, like-minded people who are interested in similar things. I guess just about being productive and like positive in life. I think that's important to have those types of people. And I think getting into podcasts and like listening more to podcasts has been really cool. Something I don't think I did until like last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You said people, productive, and you said another P. There was 3 Ps there.
Podcasts.
That wasn't it, but we're going to write it. We're going to have to go back and listen. When you were saying, I was like, that's gold. It's like people, productive.
Oh, positive.
Positive. That was the one. Sorry, podcast. You're going to get scrapped. Positive. I like it. So be around people, good people, have a good network of people. Be positive. Be productive. I like that. Do you remember a moment, probably more from a sporting career as well, when you said like, shit, like this is real now?
Like what do you mean real? Like
not as if like I've made it, but it's like it's legit. Like I'm living in what I dreamed.
I think when I was overseas playing, like in America, like in that type of college kind of world, I think because people at the college, they look up to, student athletes, they're like sort of celebrity, but, they're kind of a big deal. So I think playing for Western Sydney, that moment too was pretty special. Yeah, I guess a couple.
What was it like to pull up the green and gold socks?
That was because it was my first, I guess, I was young as well, and you're around your friends, it's like, oh, is this happening? Like, they're hanging up your jersey, you have someone, who washes your gear, and it's like, oh, someone's like putting out my jersey, like, this is
That's
great.
cool. I love it. I remember playing footy and that same thing. The shorts would be washed, the jersey would be washed. You just rock up, you bring your own footy boots and happy days. It's like, this is cool. I didn't get this in junior local footy. That's for sure. All right, I like it. Is this sort of what you envisioned though, Candace? Like, did you sort of say, coming out of school, I'm going to go to America, I'm going to play there, and then I'm going to come back and create my own businesses? And is that what you sort of thought would happen?
Absolutely not. I think when I left school, I had no idea like where I was going, what I was doing. Like the college thing wasn't really planned that at all. Like I was like I went late to college. People normally go when they're 18. I went when I was 19. So I was already like a year out of high school. So that was sort of a little bit last minute. And then, like I always thought I was just going to play soccer and, play at a high level, and then, things change, or, how you think changes. Then I always knew I wanted to do maybe something in business, but I really was not sure what it was.
What it would be.
Yeah.
Well done on everything you've been able to achieve so far. I know it's only, in a way, like level 1 of what Candace will be doing in the grand scheme of her life, but it's actually really impressive. And I'm a big fan of the bone broth. We're gonna have a conversation off air about that for sure. What do you think, Candace, is? It's not about like what makes you special, but like, okay, cool. You've played professional football around the world, right? You've played for some of the biggest teams, the biggest leagues there are. You've played college. It's a fair deal, right? Then you've gone on to do what you've done now. Like, how did you make that happen? Like, why you? Because I'm guessing there's probably tons of girls who play football. I was going to say soccer, football, right? Why do some make it, some don't? Why did you make it? And why do you have, why you?
I think persistence and patience, like anything, right? Like in business as well. And in a sport, it's, repetition. Like at the moment, I'm training, my little cousin, she's only 12. And, she can't do things. She's like, oh, like, why can you do that? Like, can't, do it. I used to juggle for hours and hours and hours and hours. Like, it didn't just come like that. Like, I used to do it a lot. So I think it's about just literally doing things, till it happens, really. And even when it does happen, you still have to do it. Like, I never stopped juggling in football.
Was it in, like, when I asked you earlier, like, sum up your mindset in one word, you said determined.
Yeah.
So you can see how it all sort of does tie in together. This is a bit of a just off the cuff question for you. What's one thing that sport has taught you about life?
When you get knocked down, get back up, which is a little cheesy, but it's pretty true for me anyway.
For me, it was pretty much the same thing. It taught me how to lose.
Yeah.
Because you have to get back up and go again next week. It doesn't matter if you win by 100 points in my sport or 100 goals in your sport, or you lose by that many.
Yeah.
You still need to turn up next week. You still need to turn up to training.
Yeah.
You still need to turn up like nothing happened the week before.
Yeah, and that was definitely like college. Like, oh, you got injured? Okay, so let's come to training. And it's like, well, okay, like I don't even want to go to training because I can't train, but like you still have to go.
Absolutely. I love it. As we sort of tie it off and wrap it, this has been awesome. I've got like I said, we're going to have another whole conversation about optimization of my health to take it to the next whole level, because I'm excited about that. Last question for us here, Candace. What's something that you sort of replay back in your mind that you tell yourself when times are tough? Like you said there, when you get knocked down and you're like, shit, do I get back up again? Is it something that someone said to you? Is it something that you read, that someone, you just heard third hand? Is there a particular word, phrase, quote that you replay back in your mind in those times where you're like, I need a bit of motivation or inspiration?
I don't know if there's anyone in particular. I think my parents were always good people to have around me, definitely supported me. And I think just thinking like, I always just thought, the humans are so resilient. Like, you can feel like crap one day, and after a few days, like, oh, I'm gonna be fine. Life goes on. There's more opportunity. I think it's just having. I feel like I'm an optimist. I just think, obviously you have your moment. Maybe it lasts for a day or an hour, whatever it is, but eventually I just feel like I come around, I'm like, life goes on. There's a new opportunity. What does this mean?
Have you always been like that?
A little bit. I think, even like I got injured, like a pretty bad injury at 16. I feel like I didn't take it that well. Instead of focusing on school, I just, didn't even care about school. So sort of just like plateaued and bummed out. And then, when I got injured at 21 or 22, I was completely different. I was still upset, but I put all my energy into, studying and, what else I could do. So yeah, I don't know. I guess you grow up a little bit.
I like it. Candace, you have been an incredible guest. Thank you so much for all the incredible insights and knowledge. And basically, guys, if you're listening, don't eat sugar. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. How easy is that? Just cut it out.
Yeah.
So easy. I'm just going to brainwash myself to say it's just easy, and then I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, just manifest it.
Exactly right. I'm going to manifest no sugar. I'm not going to manifest sugar. I'm going to manifest zero sugar. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Candace, where should people find more about what you do? Definitely Liquid Gold Bone Broth, and even from a dietitian standpoint, even from content, because you do put great stuff out there, and I've obviously have been following and watching a lot of your stuff. And you put, even today, I think you put something on about the plate, how to set up your plate.
Yeah. So on Instagram, at Candace _Sciberras. I don't know if you want me to spell that. But...
So I'll put it in the show notes for everybody. If people can go to the notes, there'll be your. I'll link it there for them.
Yeah, and then my business or the Liquid Gold Instagram is just LG Bone Broth. And we also got a TikTok too. We're trying a new platform.
TikTok's pumping. You got to get on there. I'll get all those links for everybody. And definitely, like I said, if you are listening and watching, I would definitely just follow Candace, because it's like, okay, cool. Watch her stories. I'm telling you, there's a lot of learning in it. There's valuable content. I'm not just saying it, Candace, because you're here. Like, I'm actually genuinely, like, I watch every single one of them to see, like, okay, cool, what can I learn today? Like I said, I'm looking for that little 1%, that little 5%. What can I find from a professional that can help me be better? Candace, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. And to everyone else out there listening and watching, thank you so much for joining us, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.